Hello ladies, how are you? This is Ms. Shuruk. I hope you really enjoyed your break and got lots of rest and you are ready to get back to work and come back to school and get back on your routine. I hope you come back to us energized and ready to work harder than term one and to perform better than term one. Alright, so what I want you to do now is go ahead and get your chemistry notebook and open it up to the next page. Write term 2 somewhere so you know where term 2 is starting, and open up your chemistry notebook and get ready for the first lesson. If you're not free to do this now because you have some family thing going on or you have some friends over, then just leave the video for later. But if you can, pause the video, go now, get your chemistry notebook and open it up. Alright, very good. So now I'm assuming your chemistry notebook is open, and the first lesson is about how to write numbers in scientific notation. Okay, maybe you've done this before in math and physics. Hopefully it'll be very easy. But sometimes in science we have some really big numbers that we have to deal with. Sometimes large numbers look like this. This is 2 with 30 zeros kilogram. This is the mass of the sun. Wow, that is a really big number. Imagine having to write this number every single time you want to write the mass of the sun, 2 with 30 zeros after it. So scientific notation is a way for us to write numbers in a more organized way. So for example, if I was to write this number in scientific notation, it would look something like this: 2.0 times 10 to the power 30 kilogram. This number is written in scientific notation. Alright, so you can go ahead and copy that in your notebook. Scientific notation, a shorthand way of writing really large or really small numbers. Now, there are some rules that you have to follow when writing numbers in scientific notation. Actually, there's just 2 rules that you need to follow. The first rule that you need to follow, and please write this down, okay? Let's use the same number again, 2.0 times 10 to the power 30 kilograms, right? The first rule is that this number, the number right here, needs to be between 1 and 10. So this number needs to be greater than 1 or less than 10. So please write that this number needs to be greater than 1 and less than 10. Okay, make sure to make a note of that. This number needs to be greater than 1 and less than 10. All right? And the second thing that you need to make sure is that it's always going to have a power of 10. And there's always going to be here an exponent. This one is called a power. This is the exponent here. And this is the number that tells you how many places to move the decimal. So it must have an exponent. And it can be positive or the exponent can be negative. All right, great. So now you know what 2 things a number needs to be in scientific notation. So for example, if I was to ask you, is this number in scientific notation? For example, if I wrote 3 1 times 10 to the power 2. Is this number in scientific notation? Well, the answer is no. Why not? Why is this number not in scientific notation? First of all, you can see here that you have a power. That's good. But 31 is not greater than 1 and less than 10, because 31 is more than 10. So this number is not in scientific notation. Okay, let's look at another example. Let's call that A. Let's look at another example. Is this number in scientific notation? 0.2 times 10 to the power minus 2. Okay, so again, yes, you see here that you have a power. That's great, good. We need that. And here you can see that this number is less than 1. So this is no, not scientific notation, because this number has to be more than 1 and less than 10. All right, let's just do one more. 1.2 times 10 to the power 4. Is this number in scientific notation? Well, let's check. You have a power. That's good. And this number is more than 1 and less than 10. That's good. So the answer is yes. Okay? So numbers must be more than 1, less than 10 to be in scientific notation. Okay? Please make note of that in your notebook. All right, now let's learn how to change numbers from standard form to scientific notation. So please in your notebooks write how to change numbers from standard form to scientific notation. All right, our first example, 735. 735. Is this scientific notation? The answer is no, because the number is more than 10, and also we are missing the times 10 to the power. This number is not in scientific notation, so how to change it to be scientific notation? So there is no decimal place here. When there is no decimal, we put the decimal at the end. When there is no decimal, we always put it at the end. And now this decimal, we have to move it so that this number is more than 1, less than 10. So if I move the decimal here, the number becomes 73.5. Is 73.5 less than 10? The answer is no. So I'm not going to put decimal here. If I put the decimal here, the number will be 7.35. Is 7.35 less than 10? Yes. So that's going to work. But what if I put the decimal here? Then it will be 0.735, and 0.735 is less than 1, so we don't want that. So we are going to leave the decimal here. Okay, so when I move the decimal here, the new number will be 7.35. Okay, and this number is greater than 1 and less than 10. Very good. But there should also be times 10 to the power. Times 10 to the power. So which power goes here? Now you need to ask yourself how many places you moved the decimal. We moved the decimal, make it in green. We moved it 1, 2. We moved decimal 2 places. So the power of 10 here is going to be 2, because we moved the decimal 2 places. Now if you move the decimal to the left, make note of this, okay? So if the decimal moves to the left, the power is positive. The power is positive. Okay? So the answer is 7.35 times 10 to the power 2. All right, let's do another example. This time I have 0.00371. Okay? Can you change this number to scientific notation? First of all, this number is not scientific notation because this number is less than 1. It must be more than 1. So we have to move the decimal. So the decimal is here. If we move the decimal this way, it will be 0.000371, and that is not more than 1. So we don't want to move the decimal to the left. This time we'll move the decimal like this. If I put the decimal here, then the number will be 0.0371. That's still not greater than 1. If I move the decimal here, the number will be 0.371. That's still not greater than 1, so we'll keep going. If I move the decimal here, it will be 3.71. 3.71. 3.71 is greater than 1 and less than 10. That's very good. That's what we want. Now, just for explanation, if I move the decimal here, it will be 37. 37 is more than 10. We don't want that, so we're going to stop here. Okay? Very good. But that's not it, because we need times 10, and then here we need the power. So let's see. How many spaces did we move the decimal? We moved it 1, 2, 3. So the power here will be 3, but this time it's minus 3 because we moved the decimal to the right. So please make a note of that. If you move the decimal right, the power is negative. All right, we're almost finished. Let's just do some practice together, okay? So practice. Change these numbers to scientific notation. Numbers 1 to 5. Go ahead and change these numbers for scientific notation. Go ahead and pause the video and try to do it, and then play the video when you are finished to check your answers. Pause now. All right, very good. If you have finished, now you can go ahead and check your answers with me. So for the first one, we're going to move the decimal 1, 2, 3. We're going to stop here. This will make the number 2.4732 times 10 to the power. We moved it 1, 2, 3 places. So times 10 to the power 3 grams. Remember, if we move the decimal to the left, the power is positive. If we move the decimal to the right, the power is negative. Okay? All right, second question. There's no decimal here, so when there's no decimal, we put it at the end. We're going to move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4.472. No need to write the zeros. Times 10 to the power 6. All right, check your work. If you have it correct, give yourself a nice big check. All right, next one. We are going to move the decimal this time to the right. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to stop here. 2.45 times 10 to the minus 4 meter. Next one, we're going to move the decimal 1, 2. 1 point, and you can write 1.0 times 10 to the power. We moved it to the right, so we're going to put minus, and we moved it 2 places, so minus 2. Right? Number 5, 3. There's no decimal, so you can put the decimal at the end. 3 point. Now, if you noticed, 3 is more than 1 and less than 10. So we don't have to move the decimal because 3 is already more than 1 and less than 10. But this is not scientific notation. It's missing something. It must have times 10 to the power. Okay, so you must write times 10 to the power. But we are not moving the decimal anywhere. So it's going to be times 10 to the power of 0. All right, so now you've had some practice and you've taken some notes, and I think you might be ready to go ahead and take your homework quiz. This is a homework quiz on quizzes. So please go into quizzes. You have until, the deadline is here, do you see it? You have until 8 a.m. January 13th, that's Sunday morning, okay, to complete this quiz. You can take it many times until you like your score. You can take it more than one time, no problem. The quiz is about scientific notation, so hopefully you are ready to take this quiz now. Just go to quizzes, type in the game code, and go ahead and do this before school starts on Sunday. All right, I will be checking to make sure that there is notes in your notebook. This will count as homework mark. So please take the time to do this. I will make for you 2 more videos before Sunday, inshallah, and hopefully they'll be shorter than this one. All right, please email me if you have any problems, okay? Make sure when you sign into quizzes to write your full name and your class so I know who you are. All right, ladies, miss you. Can't wait to see you. Take care. Bye.